What's good, YouTube? I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. Fashion, fragrance, looking good, smelling great, grooming. We talk about it all on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications by hitting the bell icon as well. So anytime a new video is uploaded on the channel, you get notified. All right, guys, on today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 10 of the top 10 oud fragrances from my collection. Now, generally speaking, oud is not one of my favorite notes in perfumery, but when done right, it can really create magic in a fragrance. I don't like oud that is very quote unquote barnyard or fecal. Why? Simply because you tell me the last time that you smelled dog feces and thought that it smelled good. I mean, it's as simple as that. And oud can really have that, you know, really skanky, animalic, barnyard touch in a lot of fragrances. That is not my thing. Now, there are a lot of fragrances that list oud as a note, but you generally don't really pick any oud up. So those type fragrances are not fragrances I'm including on this list. So this is kind of the fragrances I like have that balance where you do smell a real oud, but it's not over the top. Those are the type fragrances that, you know, when I think about oud, that I enjoy. It's a note, like I said, that can really give you a fantastic, like I said, magical scent profile if done right. And those are the type fragrances that I want to talk about on this list today. So if you're a person that's into oud, but of course you're like me and don't like the super barnyard, over the top, you know, animalic stuff, you're probably going to like these fragrances on this list as well, because I do, because they fall into that category, well balanced. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to jump into it really quickly. If you don't have my ebook, The Gentleman's Blueprint, stop. In the name of love. No, just stop and go click on the link and pick up the ebook, The Gentleman's Blueprint, man. Some great information, man. Appreciate from my heart all you guys have gotten so far, and has been giving me some very positive feedback on what you learned from it and what it's kind of done to help you in your daily lives, to help you in that stride, becoming the best version of you that you can be, because that's really, you know, the intent of it, man. Let's bring masculinity back. It's okay for guys to be masculine. Trust me, nothing wrong with that. So click on the link, man. Support the channel. Get the ebook, man. Support your boy. I surely would appreciate it. Now, I have a few quick honorable mentions that I want to just, like I said, mention, not going to notes or anything. But if you want one on a designer level that's really, really good, probably one of the best designer ouds to me is this one, Gucci Intense Oud. At one point, they kind of rumored this to be discontinued, but I keep seeing them readily available, so maybe it's not. But this is a really nice oud fragrance on a designer level. This particular fragrance from the brand of Frederic Malle, this is called Promise. Now, this fragrance is not on the list because, based on Frederic Malle's website themselves, they said Dominique Ropion created the illusion of oud with Cypriol and some other notes. And so because they are adamant that no oud is in this fragrance, although it kind of comes off smelling that way, I can't put it on the list. They said there's no oud in it. So it's an oud video, but this is really, really good. There is the illusion of oud in this fragrance. So Promise from Frederic Malle, honorable mention for that reason. One of my favorite fragrances in the world from Bond No. 9, New York Oud. New York Oud. This is going on as an honorable mention as well, because this don't pick up a whole lot of oud. Now, there's different types of oud. There's Arabic oud from different regions of the country. So oud is not always smell the exact same way in fragrances, but I know what oud smells like when I smell it. Don't smell a whole lot of oud in here, maybe a little bit, but that's why it's not on the list. As far as a fragrance itself, this would have been at the top of the list. It's one of my favorites, but not a whole lot of real oud in this fragrance. And the last honorable mention is another one of my favorite fragrances in the world, Tom Ford Oud Wood. You know, kind of spicy, a little bit sweet, but again, not a lot of, you know, real oud in this one as well. So that's why it goes down as an honorable mention. All right, so let's get to the actual top 10, and these kind of are somewhat in order. The first fragrance from the brand of Bond Number 9 from the Dubai collection. This one is called Black Sapphire. Black Sapphire. What you get in this one is beeswax, honey, neroli, rose, and oud. Now, I did say that I don't like fecal barnyard oud, and this one does start off with that, but it only lasts for about 5 minutes. You get oud for pretty much the duration of your wearing experience with this fragrance, but what I love about it is after about the first 3 to 5 minutes, the neroli note comes in there and really breaks up that fecal barnyard smell that you get of oud in the opening. If you just spray this probably on a test strip, you're probably gonna head for the hills, because again, I know most people don't really gravitate towards the more fecal smelling oud fragrances. And again, I want to be clear, you do get that in the opening of this fragrance, but once about 3 to 5 minutes in, the neroli comes in there, kind of gives it a little bit more of a fresh powdery essence, and then that is combined with this beautiful honey beeswax that comes into play. And then when it starts to dry down, it gets, you know, spicier, a little bit sweeter on the dry down of this fragrance, and the dry down is just to die for. So I really like it. Again, if I'm talking about oud, you do smell some real oud in this fragrance, so it's there, and the dry down is my favorite part of this fragrance. So it's on the list. This is a really nice fragrance if you like oud from the brand of Bond Number 9 of Dubai collection. This one is called Black Sapphire. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from the brand of Fragrance du Bois. This is Oud Noir Intense. Oud Noir Intense. This is cardamom, rose, oud, musk, and amber. Now, this is, to me, what oud would have smelled like if it had more real oud in the composition. So it has some of those similarities to oud wood. I think oud wood does have cardamom in it as well. But this, again, you pick up that oud in the very opening. Some people kind of turns them off from it, but I really like it. It really gives the oud wood kind of scent profile with a more realistic kind of oud note in there, and it does perform better. So if you're a fan of oud wood, you may like this one as well. This does have more real oud in it, so it's on the list in the 9th spot. A really great oud fragrance from Fragrance du Bois. Again, this one is called Oud Noir Intense. All right, up next, guys, this fragrance comes from the brand of Amouage Interlude Man 53. Interlude Man 53. Oregano, incense, opopanax, oud, and sandalwood. Some of the main notes in this fragrance. This is an amplified version of the original. I want to say it's over 50% oil concentration in this fragrance. So the Blue Beast was a beast, but this is the Blue Beast times 2. So this fragrance literally performs all day on your skin, and it has a beautiful note of oud. Now, I love this because it kind of starts to sweeten up on the dry down. There's a little bit of some sweeter elements that you get that comes into play on the dry down of this fragrance to kind of, I think, give some balance to it, because outside of that, you know, with the oud, you know, again, smokiness from incense, smokiness from a opopanax, you know, kind of earthy, all that other stuff going on. I love the sweet notes that are in here to really help bring some balance to this composition. And like I said, it lasts all day. But you do pick up a very authentic oud note in this fragrance, but it's not overpowering or overdone. It is well balanced. So that's why it's on the list. And this is 8th spot, I think it is, from the brand of Amouage Interlude 53. All right, guys, coming in the 7th spot, this fragrance is from the brand of Louis Vuitton. This, of course, you guys know this one, Ombre Nomade. Ombre Nomade in the 7th spot. Incense, raspberry, saffron, birchwood, and oud. This has that kind of typical rose oud combination to it. That's why it's actually in the 7th spot, because there's some other ones ahead of this that are more, that use the note more in a creative way. It doesn't, those other ones don't smell as much like the typical quote unquote rose oud fragrance, which is a combination that I think it is safe to say has been well overdone using rose and oud. It's just, the fact, of course, that they work so well together. But this one is more of the typical rose oud. I love the kind of tart fruitiness that comes from the raspberry in here to break up that monotony as well. But this is a beautiful rose oud fragrance. Obviously, that's why it's on the list. So if you like oud, I am sure you will love this one. Very smoky, incensey oud rose combination from the brand, of course, of Louis Vuitton. This one is called Ombre Nomad. All right, guys, these last 6 fragrances on this list are really special oud fragrances. All of them offer something very unique to outside of that typical rose oud combination. That's why these are higher on the list. This next one is so good. It's fantastic from BowTie Victoria's Alamus. Pineapple, Turkish rose, suede, patchouli, and oud are some of the main notes. And what makes this one so unique, you already guessed it, that pineapple note in the opening. I told you guys about this situation a few weeks ago when I wore this and I went to Starbucks and got some compliments on this fragrance. It is definitely one that catches people's attention. And like I said, you get real oud here, but it is not overdone. The oud doesn't, just take over these fragrances that I'm talking about, that I love oud in. I love when it shows itself and you can tell it's present and you can tell that it's a authentic note of oud, but it doesn't, again, go barnyard and doesn't take over the fragrance. The pineapple is the perfect note here that gives that nice fruitiness up top, that gives this fragrance a unique factor comparatively speaking to my other oud fragrances that I have on the list. So this is a heavenly fragrance. If you love oud, you have to get your nose on this one. This is Alamus. All right, guys, now this next fragrance comes from the brand of Tom Ford, and this one is called Tobacco Oud. What you get with this one, guys, you're going to get, of course, whiskey, cinnamon, tobacco, benzoin, and oud. This is, oh man, I can't believe it's in the 5th spot. This is fantastic. This is a fragrance that gives you the oud that are supported by or works in collaboration in this fragrance with the boozy whiskey opening. So you have whiskey and tobacco here. Very unique. Of course, again, these fragrances are breaking away from the more traditional rose oud fragrances that you can find so readily available on the market. This does something different with a note of oud. You do pick up, again, authentic oud here. All the fragrances on the list you can. But this one gives you the oud again with that, tobacco and the booziness of whiskey. And then on the dry down, it's like a sweet benzoin, vanillic, ambery dry down. This is stuff that's to die for, man. This is so good, man. Get your nose on this. I have been seeing 1.7 ounce bottles of this out there on the market. And of course, guys, I always try to link these as many as I can. I'll link it to the video. You gotta check this out. You gotta check this out if you love oud and if you love boozy fragrances from the brand of Tom Ford, Tobacco Oud. All right, guys, this next fragrance is in the 4th spot because it's one of my favorite fragrances from this brand. And this gives you a fresher take on a note of oud. It's so good, so gentlemanly. This fragrance is from Creed, and this is Royal Oud. Royal Oud, pink pepper, cedarwood, angelica, sandalwood, and of course, oud is some of the main notes, man. Really spicy, peppery fragrance with some very earthy nuances in here. The angelica gives you this kind of slightly sweet but earthy element to this fragrance. You get a lot of cedarwood in here. It is heavy on the cedarwood, and it does have some real authentic oud. Oud really plays nice and calm in the background the entire duration of this fragrance, and I love that about it. Again, it is so manly, it's so sophisticated, and so gentlemanly, and it's unique. When you think about the note of oud, it's a fresher take on the note of oud. Home run from Creed. Check this one out, guys. This one is called Royal Oud. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from the brand of Acqu Di Gio Profondo, and fantastic is an understatement. Doesn't do this fragrance justice, honestly. I don't know if there's a word that would do it justice, but man, this one is called OUD. This one is simply called OUD or Oud. You get lemon verbena up top with May rose. Then you get leather, cashmere wood, nutmeg, and oud. Man, this stuff is good. Now, it's very close for me in its collection with this, musk oud, and amber oud, but I think amber oud is still my favorite, but this has more real oud. The amber oud is really more about, you know, that kind of creamy fig note in there, and rose. This gives you more of an authentic smell of oud, but just like any rose fragrance that I have in my collection, it is balanced so well, balanced to the utmost. Of course, very sophisticated, very, very CEO type of wearing fragrance. That's what comes to my mind when I smell it. The type of person that will wear a fragrance like this, but this stuff is just dynamite. If you love oud, this is one that is a must experience. It's from the brand of Acqu Di Gio Profondo, and it's simply called OUD or Oud. All right, guys, now coming in the number 2 spot on this list, I really don't understand why I did this, why this is this good. I really don't. From the brand of FragranceGuy, themoon. My goodness, man. My goodness. This is a raspberry lychee, blackberry, rose, oud, and cedarwood. Those are some of the main notes to my nose. What makes this oud fragrance so unique is that beautiful fruity opening. Lychee is sweet, and then you have the black pepper and the raspberry in this fragrance. This is just artistic. It is fantastic. It performs great. It's again a very unique combination of notes to really highlight the note of oud, but the fruitiness really is a great counter to the oud in this fragrance that just gives it, you know, a very, very unique scent profile. It's almost like candied fruitiness in the opening that you get with this, with the oud, of course, on the dry down, supported by that woodiness that comes in there from cedarwood on the dry down. This is fantastic, fellas. This is fantastic. This is art in a bottle. This is next level. It is an amazing oud fragrance from the brand of FragranceGuy. This is called themoon. All right, guys, and last but not least, any of you that's probably been following me for any amount of time know what my favorite oud fragrance is on the planet. From the brand of MFK, oudsatinmood. Oudsatinmood. Rose, violet, vanilla, benzoin, of course, and oud. Man, this is so good. Actually wore this yesterday, got so many compliments on it. Works with my skin chemistry. You definitely pick up oud. It's a little bit powdery in here, a little bit sweet and vanillic on the dry down, because you get some benzoin in here. Like I said, you get some violet that gives it that powdery nuance with the oud and rose. Just, man, do yourself a favor and check this stuff out, guys. It is from the brand of MFK. Again, this one is called oudsatinmood. But that is it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today, as I gave you 10 of my favorite, or the top 10 oud fragrances in my entire collection. What are some fragrances that you have, you guys out there that are into oud, that you have on your list that would be your top 2 or 3 oud fragrances? I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. Now, as always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time, and I appreciate your attention to these videos. You don't have to watch, but you do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you're sharing these videos out to some other folks that you think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darren. I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell fantastic. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.